Hello, everybody. Welcome to my car radio podcast. Today I'm here with 7000 apart, Amelie and Jon. Nice to meet you.
Super nice to meet you.
So, congrats on the Wisconsin Area Music Industry Award for Best New Artist. And Rock Nallen. Is that right? Rock Nallen?
Yeah.
Okay.
That was pretty good. Yeah, that was good.
That was really good.
Yeah, good job. Good job speaking Swedish.
Yeah.
How does it feel to win these two awards?
It was really cool. I mean, it's nice to be appreciated by, the industry around you. So both from like Wisconsin where we play a lot, but also back home in Sweden, it feels really cool that they like see what we're doing and care enough to, both nominate us and then like award us things. It's really cool, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
it's really
amazing.
Nice.
So for the ones who are listening or watching this podcast, how did you guys meet? And why are you called 7000 apart? How did this idea come up?
So I'm originally, so kind of, as I kind of mentioned, I'm from Sweden originally. I'm from Stockholm, Sweden. And when I was 17 years old, I went to the US to be an exchange student. And I could have ended up pretty much in any of the 50 states. But fate brought me to Green Bay, Wisconsin, where I met Jon in music theory class at Preble High School.
Yeah, so we met in music theory class, and it was my senior year of high school. And we became friends, and then we became more than friends, and we ended up dating the entire senior year of high school. And then at the end of the school year, we had to decide whether or not we wanted to stay in a relationship and try long distance or just break up right then. And obviously we tried long distance, and we ended up spending 3 years, 7,000 kilometers apart from each other.
Wow. Yeah, so it was during that time that we started 7000 apart as a way of still making music, even though we were apart. And then after like those 3 very, very, very tough years, we finally got to be together. We got married in Sweden, and I moved to Jon here in the US, and we've been doing music and being married ever since.
And we've been full-time now for about 9 months with music.
Yeah.
So
that's amazing. And would you like to learn how to play any other instruments? Because if I'm not wrong, you, Amelie, play the guitar and electric guitar, and Jon, you play guitar, electric guitar, and piano. Is there any other instrument that you love to play?
Yeah, I would like to be way better at guitar. I only know like the basics. I can play it on stage, but it's very like the simple chords kind of stuff. I did do bass for a while, but right now I think my focus is just to get better at guitar. How about you, Jon?
For me, I mean, I definitely want to get better at singing and guitar and piano, but I would also love to like learn drums. I think drums and like a dream instrument would definitely be like a cello.
Yeah.
Those are like my 2 dream instruments just because they're very different than any of the other instruments I've learned. Yeah.
That's amazing. Well, you are amazing at piano. I was checking your music, guys, yesterday, and there's lovely instrumentals on every single song.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
It's amazing. So during the pandemic, you had this idea of 30 songs, 30 days. What was like your favorite songs that you most enjoy playing?
Oh, good question. So yeah, when the pandemic hit and we went into lockdown here in Wisconsin, we just knew that we needed to do something so we wouldn't go completely crazy. And so we like to set challenges, and so we set that like 30 songs in 30 days challenge. So we would record a new cover or record an original every single day for 30 days. And I think the most fun was when we got a looper, and that was really, really fun to like explore and figure out how it worked. We still play some of those songs live to this day. Like we play Bad Guy, we do Dance Monkey, and Attention. So those 3 they've like come with us from that time. And also the like jazzy version of Sucker is
I love that
by the
one.
Jonas Brothers. I really enjoy that one too.
Yeah, I'd say
Yeah,
Yeah.
thanks. From the closet.
Yeah, I'd say for me, Attention is one of my favorites just because it's really fun doing the
Yeah.
looping, live looping. Yeah, it's just fun like trying to get it right every time, and like it's not always it's not always perfect, so it's like
Yeah.
it takes a lot to make sure that you're trying to do it right, which is fun.
Yeah. But to me, I've written them down to not forget. To me, are Breathing, the cover by Ariana Grande. I think it's amazing. With your vocals, Amelie, it's amazing. And the ones that you play on the live loop pedal, Stupid Love. I love that one, Stupid Love. And also, it wasn't from that challenge, but your cover.
That one's really fun. I think that was that the first one we did?
Yes.
I think so, yeah. And also, it wasn't from that challenge. I think it's from a different cover, but "Love" by Kendrick Lamar. I feel like you made it yours. Like, it's amazing how it sounds acoustic. It doesn't feel like Kendrick Lamar at all. That's amazing.
Oh, thank you. I mean, we definitely took inspiration from the Churches. They did a cover of it, so we can't take all the credit on that one.
Okay.
I'd love to, but it was actually a wedding couple. We played a wedding last year, and they wanted that as their first dance.
Yep.
And they're like, this is kind of weird, but like, could you play this one? We've heard a like acoustic-ish version of it by Churches, and so we took that and kind of made it our own. But I love that one too.
That's amazing.
It's cool that you've done your research too. It's really sweet.
I love doing that, for the interviews. I think it's necessary. Some interviews will say like the most common questions, and it's like, okay, I created this podcast to share art, like in any form. So and what else? I have my questions here. When did you start writing your own music?
Jon started before I did.
I started when I was around 10 or 11. So it was I had played like classical music and a little bit of jazz, and I think I had started saxophone in school and like pretty much just church music. And then I found out that basically I found my way into the Christian contemporary market because I grew up very Christian, and so I heard this band called Switchfoot for the first time, and they're not like a huge band at all, but they made a huge difference in my life. And I just realized that through them, I realized because they talk so openly about the songwriting process, I realized that you could write songs. And so I just started learning about chords, and I just started trying to make my own songs. And they were definitely, a lot of them were just copies of Switchfoot songs, but it was a really great way of getting started, and it just kind of put me on the path for songwriting.
Yeah, and I started in high school. I started I think the year that we met, because Jon wrote songs, and then I took a lot of music classes that year, so that kind of inspired me to write my own things. And then once I got back from Sweden, got back to Sweden from the US, I took a songwriting class too, like a night class kind of a thing. And that taught me just a lot of different ways to write. And so I'm still using a lot of those tricks and tips to this day.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And do you have any artists, or do you think there's anything in particular that inspires your music?
I think like a lot. We listen to a lot of different types of music, and I think we also take a lot of inspiration from just our own lives. I think from our own emotions. I think when you write music from your heart, it's like maybe like cheesy or cliche as that sounds, then the music will be better when you take it from your own experiences and you can really feel the words that you're writing, but like musically, I mean, Switchfoot has been a huge influence for Jon. We love Sarah Bareilles, and like I think for me it's very vocal inspired, so like I love
Paramore, Evanescence,
a
lot of
the
like
album there.
Adele.
Adele, I mean, like all the for you, it's been like all the best vocalists, so
exactly.
Beyonce and Whitney Houston and like everyone.
That's always been important to me, that like not just the words, you know, make me feel something, but also the melodies and the way I get to sing it, and like, you know, doing the high notes and stuff. There's so much emotion connected to that. So yeah, that's definitely been an inspiration for sure.
Yeah, and then sonically, it's just been all over the place, like from just radio and like Spotify things and like random things we hear. So it's and
we're definitely honing in on like what it is that we want to sound like, and like the messages, and how to like really amplify the lyrics, you know, with the melodies. Yeah, exactly. And how to make sure that like, I mean, for us, we're releasing an album called Feel Your Feelings. And so for us, it's like, how do we get people to feel this specific feeling the most through the production work?
Yeah.
And is there any song that you love the lyrics that you've ever written? Like your most favorite lyrics you've ever written?
Ooh. That we've ever written?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, that are released.
Yeah, that's released. Okay.
Okay,
lyric wise, I think Dust Covered Eyes sticks out to me, just because Dust Covered Eyes started as a poem that Jon wrote, and so that one is really like, it's so detailed, like there's so many details in it, which I really appreciate when it comes to lyrics. Otherwise, lyrically, that's hard. I like know like what my favorite songs are and like together and stuff, but I think Dust Covered Eyes has that like, you know, I could read those lyrics and be like, you know what, I get what,
Yeah, I would say so too. Off of that project. Aside from that, I mean, Hope is.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's true.
That's one of my favorites too.
Yeah. Thank you.
Hope is one of my. Yeah.
But Hope is so like also relying on the melodies and stuff. While Dust Covered Eyes is very like straight. There's not much happening in the vocal melody, so like to me, like it's really the lyrics that carry that song, while Hope has so much more going for it.
I agree.
Yeah. To me, it'll be Close Your Eyes. I love that song. And the video. The video with the remix, it's amazing. Like, to me as a photographer, there's one particular scene that you, Amelie, are like on a wall, in front of a wall, and there's like a shadow covering your eyes, and the shadow is projecting on the wall, and you're dressing white, and the shadow, like, that's amazing.
Thank
that's
you.
amazing. I love that.
So much fun working on that one.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
Yeah, it's great.
Do you have any dream collaborations?
Dream collaborations, good question. I think like we're at the point right now where we just like want to work with anyone.
Yeah.
Like that would just like, and as like a duo, I think it's harder to do those collaborations, like in some ways, because it's like kind of weird if I sing with another dude, you know?
Yeah.
A little bit.
But I think we would love to write for other people. We would love to have other people write for us, and I think it's more like songwriting, like collaborations, more than like releasing songs with other people. I mean remixes. I would love to work with like Kygo, you know?
Yeah.
For instance, and stuff like that. But for songwriting, there's so many Swedish songwriters that are incredible.
I'm trying to think of like niche. I mean, I would say like if we're thinking like bigger people like that, I think like for me, like if we're actually releasing a song, it'd definitely be more like Kygo or people like in that realm of things. Maybe Owl City or like
like a remix type of thing,
or things that are like more in that realm. But if it's songwriting, I mean like
Ed Sheeran,
like everyone.
Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Taylor Swift will be
Max
amazing.
Martin, like I mean any of those people.
That'd be huge.
Basically anyone from the And the Writer Is podcasts, like they're all really inspiring people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And is there any venue you love to play in? Any city?
Yeah, I mean, so in Sweden, there's this really famous, it's called the Avicii Arena. They just changed the name of it. It was called the Globen. And that's one of those like places where I've gone to see concerts when I was young, and it's like really one of the staples because it's actually like a globe. It's actually like a round thing. It's kind of like it looks like a golf ball.
Yeah.
And, this is white. And so that's like one of our, or at least my dream venues, just because it's so nice. And then we have a place in Milwaukee where we got to work backstage for a concert there, and they had a barista in their green room that made like made order like
they had a private chef and a barista in their green room.
Wow.
So we're like, we want to play there because
really like free lattes all day. Like I mean, it's not free, obviously, if you're the artist, I guess. But it was really nice, like having
a private barista.
They had like this
make your coffee all day.
They had this like they had a vinyl player that was like the barista would choose music, and then like you could also choose music if you wanted to, and like the entire wall was just like famous like albums.
It's just the vibes.
It was just such a cool vibe. But
it's called the Riverside Theater. It's really nice.
That sounds like a movie, literally, like with the barista and everything.
Yes,
and all the vinyls, all the vinyls like on the wall. That's amazing.
It was awesome.
It was really cool.
And do you have any upcoming concerts?
Oh yeah, no, we have 80 shows so far this year, and I think our next one is on
this coming week.
I don't even know.
I think one thing one thing when you're like. Yeah, when you're an artist starting, like, it's so funny because I feel like we're still starting out because even though we've been doing this for 5 years, like, the thing is I feel like we're just now getting to the point where you're like paying your dues, kind of. Like now is when we're actually able to fully invest and like do the grind and stuff. So when we say shows, we don't necessarily mean like we're doing, you know, like opening acts on a tour or something. Like it's a lot of really small towns that you've probably never heard of.
Oh, 100%.
It's a lot of venues where we're playing for like a max of like 50 to 100 people, and so it's really cool, I think, because like when artists talk about that, you're always like, well, that's probably when like the first year they start or whatever, you know. But it's like it takes time, you know. It takes time, and it takes a lot of growth and like just meeting artists and stuff. So I think it's really cool. Like when we say 80 shows, like that, it's like
it's like mostly Wisconsin. It's mostly like restaurants and bars.
We're running everything. There's no green room.
We set up sound. We set up lighting. We run our own sound. Like so it's a lot of work, and it's like, you know, we play for 3 or 4 hours a lot. So it's very, very different from like if you go to see your favorite band in concert, you know, like they might play for an hour and a half or something if they're like really good and they have a lot of material. And
not throwing shade at Justin, but like Justin Bieber, but like he was like in a video, he's like, oh, I have to play an hour, and then I have to.
It's so hard.
It's so hard.
And then I have to go to in the sauna on my tour bus. And like in my double bed.
Such a hard life,
Yeah. And we're like, okay, Justin.
Like we have to drive. We have to
drive
set up.
after the show as well. Tear down after the show.
Yeah.
Like drive 4 hours before we can go to sleep. You know, so it's Anyway. That's
it's a whole different context,
Yeah, 100%.
And how did it feel to play? I think it was 4 hours on a New Year's Eve.
Oh yeah, that was not one of our best shows. We had a lot of fun because we had the band with us.
We had a lot of fun,
and we got to play a lot of songs. But like, they did not want to party, you know. We brought our like A game. We brought the best songs ever. We were like, we're gonna play Final Countdown, and we're gonna play like, you know, whatever. And they just wanted to sit by the bar and get drunk. So
it was really fun to record that though, because I love having that documented, because then like down the road people can look back and be like, oh, like people were yelling at 7000 Apart to play Slipknot. Like, like, you know.
It's so fun in the vlog when Amelie, you said like, I think not.
I don't think so.
And would you like to be in a movie soundtrack?
Oh yeah, we'd love
Yeah.
that. We've had one song placed with the Hills, so that
On
was really cool on
MTV. Yeah.
MTV.
Wow.
We would love to do more of that kind of stuff. We're definitely for the music that we're working on right now. Some of the songs are very like in that direction that they could be
Yeah.
placed pretty easily in movies
And we're
and TV shows.
working on that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would
We're
definitely
hoping
say
for
yes. We'd love
it.
to.
Hopefully next time we talk, something
Yeah.
more. Yeah.
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 Yeah, I think so. I think so. I feel like I think it's someone to be. That
Yeah.
feels like a Disney song to me.
Oh,
Like,
thank you. Yeah.
honestly, it sounds like with the instrumental and the lyrics and everything, it
Thank
feels like
you.
a Disney song. And I
Yeah,
think Close Your Eyes might
yeah,
fit in a mystery show or something like that.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah,
amazing.
Someone to Be was one of the first songs I ever wrote. Like, I think it was the first one that I wrote, like, from start to finish,
Yeah.
without John and, like, just completely by myself. John had to add, like, the
It
chords
was-
because I couldn't figure out the chords.
Yeah.
But yeah, and yeah, we get that a lot, that it sounds like
And
a
it
Disney
was-
song, which is, like, the best compliment. 'Cause
And it was
Yeah.
produced by us too.
Yeah.
We had like a really bad laptop and really bad
you could use
equipment
some, like,
in my parents' basement, like right after graduating from college. So it's so sweet that you say that.
I do like it.
Yeah.
You're welcome. But yeah, like it's amazing to know the behind the scenes, because
Yeah.
like I don't see that.
Yeah.
I see a
Yeah.
lovely song, but I feel like the artists see a whole different thing.
Oh,
yeah.
100%. But
Sometimes,
that's why we're, yeah.
yeah, sometimes like we are too hard on ourselves. Like me as a
Oh,
photographer, or you guys. Do you feel like you're hard on yourselves? Like you rehearse a song like 20 times before you play it, or
I would say we're hard on ourselves with other things because we do play live so much.
yeah,
That is not really like a thing because like we don't have to be perfect at all these venues. We rehearse for like the big shows like a lot and make sure that the transitions are right. But because we play all the time, like we do rehearse a lot, but it's like
Yeah.
on stage. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
yeah,
And but it's more like for like vocal recording is really hard for me to make sure that like it sounds the way I want to, and I can get so hard on myself and so detail oriented, like, oh, that breath was weird, or like
Yeah.
you know that like that T didn't feel great or whatever.
Yeah.
So that's something I'm struggling with, but I'm definitely getting better at.
And like meanwhile, all the rest of us, like aside, like our producer in Nashville now, she's super good at vocal producing, but like all the rest of us in the band, like Amelie's like, well, what do you think of these vocals? You know, and we're like, it's amazing. Like every take
Yeah.
sounds the same. You know, and she's
And
like,
to me,
no,
like
it's
every
not.
take sounds different.
Yeah.
Like yeah.
But it's
So-
like, meanwhile, it's like 20 takes that all sound exactly the same to the rest of us, you know? So it's like, it's tricky for Amelie, I think, with that. Yeah.
yeah. I feel like even for me as a photographer, I will see a whole different thing than just a beautiful photo. I will see like, okay, it was like lashing rain when I was taking the photo. Something happened with the camera. The lighting is not good. I feel like as artists, we focus on details much more than the people who sees that.
Yeah, I mean, but that's also what makes us artists, you know, because
Yeah.
we care about those small details and we care about, you know, making it the way we see it in our heads or hear it in our heads and making sure that, and we also know ourselves really well, you know?
Yeah.
Like I know that I can do a really, really good vocal take, but does that mean that I have to do it 25 times? Maybe.
Yeah.
Same for you. I'm sure you take more than one photo, you know?
Oh yeah.
And it's a lot to choose from and such. So like, I think that's what makes us artists and that's what makes art so great is that we get to do a lot of trial and error and that we work really hard on what we do.
Yeah. And if you could choose any other career that's
Yeah.
not being a musician, what would you choose?
I think like because we're so like deep into like the music business now, I mean I love teaching. I love vocal teaching. I love voice teaching. So, but I'm also the kind of person that wouldn't do just one thing. I think
Yeah.
that would be. I don't think I could do that. I love voice acting. I've been doing voice acting since I was 10. If I could do that as a full-time thing, I could do that. But like I could see myself like doing like a combination of voice acting, voice teaching, maybe coaching, like coaching on the business side as well in music, or like working like backstage at like bigger concerts and like coordinate things. I could see that, but yeah, we're definitely very focused on just like 7000 apart right now.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I think I don't know what else I'd want to do besides music.
You
Like
could be a songwriter,
I
though.
could,
Like if you
well, yeah, but like that's still music.
Yeah,
Like
it's still music.
but if you wouldn't do like 7000 apart, you know what I mean?
totally, totally. But yeah, like I've never, for me, music has been the one thing that is like a rabbit hole that I can keep going down.
Yeah.
And like I can keep learning and I can keep growing, and there's just so many aspects to it. And even when you think you know like one side of it, then you realize that it's connected to physics and like the
Wow.
physics of music, and then you're like, wow, that's like math as well. And then
And
like
there's so much history.
there's so much history, and then it's like
Yeah.
it's just
And
such
social
a
change and like
yeah, it's just such a big thing. Like I'm not really sure like yeah, I would say everything else that I'd want to do would be like songwriting, production work.
I feel like you could be like a professor too.
I could possibly be a professor. That's like one of the few things I'm like, yeah, but I think it would have to be like college level because
Yeah.
I would just like I used to teach piano and guitar lessons when we were getting started, and like I had a 4-year-old student one time, and the student just like kept hitting me in the face with a pillow in the middle of the
no.
lessons, and I'm like, this is not like I'm not good at this. Like,
Yeah.
so yeah, definitely like college or high school, like later high school age student thing.
Yeah.
If I were teaching.
Is there any festival you like to play?
I mean, all of them. But we have
Literally.
we have one here in Wisconsin and Milwaukee. That's one of the bigger ones. It's called Summerfest,
Oh,
and
yeah.
so that would be really fun to play this year
yeah.
if we could get in.
South by
It's just like-
Southwest would be amazing.
Yeah, Lollapalooza. I don't know,
Yeah, I mean,
Coachella.
yeah, any of those ones.
We're not
but
too picky
I
right
think
now.
South by Southwest is one that I'd really like to do, somewhat in the near
Mm.
future, just because I think it's such a like I've never been to Texas and it sounds amazing,
It does.
but we've never been there, so like that'd be really cool to have like a good excuse to go there and
Yeah.
perform and stuff too. So
Yeah.
yeah.
And how did it feel to quit your jobs, both of you, and step into being a full-time musician?
Great.
Yeah.
I mean, so it was a little bit different for both of us, but we used to have like 6 jobs between the two of us in
Yeah.
the beginning, besides 7000 apart, and so we kind of let them go one by one, so it felt pretty natural, and yeah. But
Yeah.
I think the biggest step was like for us to let go of our last lessons, our last like teaching lessons, because we just realized that there was no way we had time for it because summer was coming up. We had so many shows and we just didn't have the brain power to think about anything
Yeah.
else, you know? And we just also felt that it wasn't fair to the students, you know,
Yeah.
that like we weren't really, you know, focused on them. So it was better that they
I think it
go with someone else.
it is kind of bittersweet though too, because like when you're spending like 3 or 4 years with like a student, you know,
And you've seen them
Yeah.
grow.
and that's like kind of the last thing you're holding on to for other jobs. It's like kind of bittersweet, like just seeing all that progress and then just being like hey, I don't have time anymore, and it's not fair to you, and like because it's very much not like ideal for teachers to just be like, hey, I'm gonna bye.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, but I think like for me it's been really nice being able to like focus on songwriting, focus on all those other aspects of
We've been able to give
Yeah.
more attention to those other things like social media and
Yeah.
whatever, and just like networking and being able to travel like and not worry about being back for Sunday and doing lessons and
yeah.
just being a lot more free it's been great.
Yeah, we talked about that the other day where it's like, we don't have like 2 weeks of vacation every year. It's like, I mean, I don't know how much vacation we actually take, but it's like at least it's flexible like enough that you can kind of choose like, hey, we need to focus on our mental health now or something.
Yeah,
Like
and if
we
we're
can do
just having a
that.
bad day, we can just be like, unless we have a show or like a planned podcast or something, we can just be like, hey, let's just take today off and work tomorrow.
Like
It's
anything,
okay.
yeah. It's
And
really
I think
great.
that's really, really helpful with what we're doing because this job is not easy.
It's
And
not, yeah.
so being able to be a lot more flexible and being able to put your mental health first and foremost has been huge.
Yeah.
And talking about mental health, there's a song called Reach Out.
Yeah.
I don't know how to pronounce it in Swedish.
Oh yeah, that's
I'm not
okay.
gonna
It's
try.
hör av dig. It's hör
How
av
is
dig.
it?
Hör av dig.
Hot of them.
Yeah,
Hot of.
pretty close. Pretty close.
Hot of them.
Yeah, we yeah.
Yeah, so tell me more about it. Like, you
I will.
collaborated with Suicide Zero.
Yes, that's correct. So we we released it last Christmas together with Suicide Zero in Swedish because their whole campaign during Christmas time was reach out and that you should reach out to your family members and your friends and people that you think might be lonely during Christmas because mental health is really tough during the holidays, especially if you've lost someone or you won't be able to get together with your family because of COVID and all of those things and or other circumstances. So we just wanted to write a song that kind of built on their campaign. And so we wrote Hör av dig and got some press for it. It was really, really cool. It was just, we really love when music can make a difference, and that's why we do music. And so after that, obviously people were starting to ask like, are you going to release it in English? We released like a version on YouTube with the English lyrics, like subtitles. Yeah. And, but people were like, you should record the English version. So we did that and we worked together with NAMI here in Wisconsin.
National Alliance of Mental Illness.
Yes. And we also premiered it on a local radio station here. So yeah, it's just one of those things that like meant a lot. It's really nice to have a Christmas song out there that also isn't just, oh yeah, I'm wearing the NAMI shirt today.
Yeah.
And it's just nice to have it like, we've just felt like so many Christmas songs are also about like, oh my gosh, everything's great,
Yeah.
Snow's falling, I'm so happy. Like, and it's, I think the Christmas time can also be very, very hard for people.
Yeah.
Well, it's
I
just like
remember just being a teenager and just hating Christmas because it never lived up to my expectations and I always felt alone. And even though I was with family, like I always felt like it just like didn't have that magic as when I was a kid. And so writing something that is more heartfelt and encouraging people to both help and reaching out, but also for people that aren't feeling good, for them to reach out and ask for help.
It's such a contrast, right? Like Christmas time, sometimes there's like this super happy music playing and sometimes it's like the worst you feel all year because it's like dark and cold and like it's a very interesting time of year, I think. So it's nice to have like both sides of it, I think.
And talking about your album, Feel Your Feelings, can you give a sneak peek, like any song that's your favorite in the album? Just the title.
Yeah, I mean, Hope that's already. Yeah, I mean, Hope is already released, and so that one's really cool.
Yeah.
We did release a live version of Stand Together on our YouTube channel. That's going to be on the album, and that one's one of my favorites to sing right now live. I just really, really how tough things get and like the world can be a pretty dark place sometimes and it's really important that we take care of each other, so that's
I think one that I'm excited for all of them, to be honest, so it's really hard to choose like one, but I think for me like one that I'm really looking forward to and I really hope it makes it. I think it will, but it's called Lonely People.
Yeah.
and I'm really looking forward to that one. Yeah.
If you like his like piano playing, you're gonna
Yeah, I love
Lonely.
piano. I'm gonna turn on the light here because
Yeah.
it's getting dark in Ireland. Sorry, guys. Yeah, it's like here. Now,
Yeah, we have a lot of lights.
Yeah.
All lights. It's all life. Okay. Now that's better. Okay. Should have done this before. You can't trust the Irish weather. I don't know how it is there, but it's been crazy. Like I used to live in the East Coast, and now I'm on the West Coast, and the weather is terrible. Like it's rain all day.
Oh my goodness.
Terrible. And
we had a what was it called? Like was it a squall?
Squall. A snow squall.
I've never heard of that before.
I
but
have no clue what that is.
We all got this, like, everyone in Wisconsin got, well, at least in our part of Wisconsin, got this, like, emergency alert on our phones, like,
super
winter
scary.
Squall. And we're like, what's a squall?
Snow squall. It's a sudden, moderately heavy snowfall with blowing snow and strong gusty surface winds. Yeah.
And we're like at Starbucks and we're like working. And we're like.
And they were like, don't drive for an hour. And we were just going to leave. And so Starbucks, it was really sweet. They gave us free hot chocolate because we were stranded there. But yeah, it was.
And we're not sponsored. And I'm sure you get your podcast is probably not sponsored by Starbucks. But Starbucks, if you're listening.
Yeah.
Give
them a call. Sponsor them.
Yes. Yeah.
It's so that's crazy. Like I can't imagine being in that situation and like just chilling, I'm guessing, and suddenly an emergency message. I can't even remember the words.
Yeah, I was like, at least there are worse places to be stranded than at a coffee shop.
There's food in a bathroom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. And can you tell the people that are listening, watching the podcast, more about how you, let's say, I don't know how to really say it. I'm struggling with English now. With the Kickstarter.
Yeah.
The Kickstarter, like the crowdfunding. How did the idea come? And what was it like?
Yeah,
it's really stressful. But it's really cool to see that people really care and that people want you to succeed. And so we did a Kickstarter for the album this fall, and it was 30 days. So again, like we like those 30-day challenges.
Yeah.
And we raised over $15,000 for the album. Amazing. And it was really cool.
It's stressful because, like, you know that without this money, like, we don't have that money, so we literally can't make the project. So it's like you have to kind of just like let go of any sense of control that you have and like do the best you can, but like realize that ultimately, like, if you're doing the best you can, that's all you can do, which is a scary feeling for sure. But it's really scary, but also really rewarding to realize that people actually do care about what you're doing. But yeah, it's our second Kickstarter that we've done now, and the first project was also it was a little worse in some ways because we were in Sweden in the studio while we were doing the Kickstarter.
Yeah.
So this one we just like spent 30 days focused on the Kickstarter, and like that felt a little bit less stressful because we still had other jobs with the other Kickstarter too. So this one was a little bit less stressful, but it's still a lot of work, and but we're very thankful that it worked out. That it worked out, yeah. So
100%.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And do you have a release date for the album, or not yet?
Not yet. We're still working on the first couple of singles. I mean, Hope is out, so that was the first single, but we're working on the next couple of singles, and we just want to make sure that they're all good before we start setting like release dates and
release
stuff.
Dates, yeah.
But I would say like the first side A is hopefully coming this summer.
It's gonna be 2 EPs, so we're gonna like do really two releases, and then the full album will come out. So the full album will have an additional like 3 or 4 songs, I think.
Something like that.
So like each of the EPs is gonna be like, I think 5 or 6 songs or something. So it's gonna be like I think for the first EP, we're like really hoping, like you said.
Yeah, summer or something, and then fall for the side B, and then maybe before Christmas, that's like a little Christmas gift. We'll release the full album.
But since it's a project about mental health, we're like
making sure that we take care.
We should make sure that we're also like doing well throughout the process.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And talking about mental health, just finished the interview. Is there any message that you would like to give to the people that are listening that you feel is important?
Yeah, I think just the main thing is that you are not alone. Like, you are not alone with what you're feeling. There are so many people out there that are struggling, and also so many people that have overcome their struggles. I mean, I can take myself for an example. I've been struggling with both anxiety and depression, and especially these last couple of years because of COVID, have been really, really tough. I started therapy. I've been in therapy for over a year now, and like, I am actually feeling better, and like knowing.
And medication too.
Yeah,
like
and that it's like, it's okay to ask for help. Medication and therapy should not be taboo. It's something that helps so many people, and that it's not shameful if you need it. It should just make you feel stronger. You know, it's all about just like being able to live this life, because you know, we only get one, and you deserve to enjoy your life. You know, and if that means that you have to ask for help, you have to, maybe ask your family, friends to support you, but also like medical professionals. I think that's really, really important. So please ask for help if you need it.
And offer help too. Like if you're doing all right, like, if you're doing all right, check in with your friends and like.
That's so important. Yeah.
Make sure everyone, you know, in your immediate community is doing all right. Like that makes a big difference to ask for help too.
Yeah. And just like for some people, it's enough knowing that you're there. You don't necessarily have to, show up with chocolate every day, but just knowing that they can rely on you is huge. Yeah.
Okay. So it was lovely to talk with you.
Super nice talking to you.
Yeah, you too.
And can you say where can they find you? Where can they listen to your music? YouTube? Is it all 7000 apart? TikTok?
Yeah, so it's really, really easy to find us. It's just 7000apart. 7000 apart. It's one word. If you type that into Google, you'll find everything.
We have a website. If you type it in 2 words, it'll probably be fine.
Yeah, you'll find it. Find that too. But yeah, we're on, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Spotify, Apple Music, Twitter, Amazon Music, YouTube, obviously.
YouTube, yeah.
And so, there's a lot out there. I mean, the Kickstarter's over, but
but if they want to,
if they want to check it out, they can definitely see what we did. But thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much for having us. We really appreciate it, and thanks for asking really fun questions too. It was great. It was really
You're
nice.
welcome. It was really fun to talk with you. Bye. Have a nice day. Well, this is
Bye,
nearly finished, Rose. Have a lovely day.
Bye.